Welcome to a journey of resilience and hope, presented beautifully for you right now on our channel, Soul Growth Stories. Deep within the vibrant green forest lived a small turtle named Timo, who carried a heavy shell but a light spirit. Every morning, Timo would stretch his neck to look at the towering mountain that stood like a giant guardian above them. While others looked at the ground for food, Timo looked at the sky, dreaming of seeing the world from the top. One sunny afternoon, he gathered his courage and told his neighbors that he intended to climb the highest peak very soon. The forest erupted in laughter as the fast rabbit and the sly fox mocked the little turtle for his ambitious dream. The rabbit boasted about his speed, claiming it would take him mere hours, while Timo would take 100 years to finish. Timo did not argue with their loud insults. Instead, he quietly prepared a small bag of supplies for the long journey. With a deep breath and a steady heart, he took the first step away from his comfortable home toward the unknown. The path ahead was long and winding, stretching far beyond what his eyes could see, but his spirit remained unshakable today. At first, the journey was pleasant, with colorful flowers blooming by the path, and the warm sun shining on his shell. Suddenly, the rabbit zoomed past him in a blur of fur, kicking up dust and shouting that he would win easily. Timo blinked the dust from his eyes, but did not speed up, knowing that his pace was the only one that mattered. As the day went on, the soft grass disappeared, replaced by sharp rocks and a steep incline that tested his strength. He passed a friendly snail resting on a stone, sharing a silent nod of understanding between two travelers of the slow path. Far ahead, the rabbit felt tired from sprinting and decided to take a long nap under the shade of a tree. Timo eventually reached the sleeping rabbit, but did not stop to wake him or rest, continuing his steady march forward upward. The bright blue sky began to fade as heavy dark clouds rolled in over the mountain, signaling that trouble was coming. A strong wind began to howl through the trees, pushing against Timo's shell, trying to force him back down the hill. Cold raindrops started to fall, one by one at first, then turning into a heavy downpour that soaked the dry earth. The path became a river of mud, making every step a slippery battle that required every ounce of his remaining energy. He slipped backward, losing precious ground he had fought for, but he dug his claws in deep and refused to slide. With mud covering his face and rain blurring his vision, Timo focused only on taking just one more small step forward. The other animals were hiding in caves, shivering and waiting for the storm to pass, too afraid to continue their journey. Timo felt cold and tired, but the image of the beautiful summit burned in his mind, keeping his little heart warm. He found a small, rocky overhang to catch his breath for a moment, gathering his strength before facing the storm again. Slowly, the heavy drumming of the rain began to fade, and narrow beams of sunlight started to pierce through the gray. Timo did not wait for the ground to dry completely. He stepped out and continued his climb with renewed hope and vigor. The trees began to thin out as he reached higher altitudes, replaced by rugged rocks and the fresh, crisp mountain air. A large fallen log blocked the narrow path, presenting a giant wall that seemed impossible for a small turtle to cross. Instead of turning back, he carefully navigated the dangerous edge, moving inch by inch, until he had safely bypassed the obstacle. Down below, the rabbit woke up with a start, realizing he had slept through the storm and lost precious daylight hours. He tried to sprint up the hill, but the wet mud caused him to slip and slide, making his speed useless. High above the chaos, Timo maintained his steady rhythm, one step after another, never rushing and never stopping for anything. His legs trembled with exhaustion, and his shell felt heavier than ever, but he knew the top was just within reach. A cool breeze brushed against his face, carrying the fresh scent of the summit, giving him a final burst of energy. Summoning every last drop of strength in his body, he pushed himself up over the final rocky ledge of the mountain. He pulled his body onto the flat surface of the peak and collapsed for a moment, his heart pounding with pure victory. Slowly, he lifted his head to witness the sun rising over the horizon, painting the world below in gold and orange. Far below, the giant forest looked like a tiny patch of moss, and the obstacles he faced seemed so small now. A profound sense of peace filled his soul as he realized that he had achieved what everyone said was impossible for him. The rabbit was still struggling halfway down the mountain, realizing too late that arrogance and speed were no match for persistence. A majestic eagle soared past the summit, dipping its wing in respect for the small creature who had climbed so high. Timo sat there for a long time, soaking in the view and the silence, proud of every slow step he took. He remembered the mockery, the storm and the pain, but they were now just stepping stones that led to this glory. With a heart full of new stories, Timo began his descent, not as a slow turtle, but as a victorious adventurer. When he finally returned to the forest clearing, the other animals gathered around him, looking at him with newfound respect. The rabbit stepped forward, humbled and muddy, to apologize and congratulate the turtle who had proven him completely wrong today. Timo smiled warmly and shared that the mountain is not conquered by legs, but by the spirit that refuses to quit. His journey taught everyone that success does not always belong to the swift, but to those who keep moving forward. Inspired by his tale, the younger animals began to tackle their own challenges, no longer afraid of being slow or weak. Timo looked up at the mountain one last time, no longer seeing a scary giant, but an old friend he knew well. Life is full of mountains for all of us, and sometimes the path is slippery, steep, and filled with loud doubters. But if you keep taking one step at a time, no matter how small, you will eventually reach your own summit. Do not let the noise of others drown out your inner voice, for your pace is the right pace for you. That night, Timo slept more soundly than ever before, dreaming of new adventures that awaited him beyond the distant horizon. Believe in your strength, trust in your journey, and remember that the view from the top is worth every struggle. If Timo's story inspired you today, please like this video and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement. Tell us in the comments below what mountain you are climbing right now, so we can cheer you on your way. Thank you for watching this journey of persistence. Remember to subscribe to Soul Growth Stories for more inspiring tales every day.